I'm Tom Johnson, Thomas Johnson Antique Furniture Restoration in Gorham, Maine. This is a nice cabinet. It's a pine cupboard. It's the upper section of a cupboard. It's I don't really know how old it is, but the case is dovetailed together. It has this very interesting Gothic arch thing going on here. But all that's really wrong with it is that the glass is broken here. And what this video is about it's about just replacing this piece of glass. Of course, the first step is to take the door off. Alright, I've got a thin flexible blade putty knife, stiff putty knife, an old chisel. I really like this heat gun. It's a great heat gun. Number one, it stands up easily to keep this hot surface away from combustibles. It has 3 speeds. I'm going to start with the lowest speed here, which is really, it's 50 degrees centigrade. It's kind of like a hair dryer level of heat. I'm going to start with as low as possible. I don't want to scorch the wood or anything. I'm going to just put a piece of plywood here to protect it. I think the heat, at least the heat I'm going to start with, is too low to scorch the wood. Hopefully it'll soften the putty. Well, the low heat doesn't seem to be doing anything, but you know, that's where you start. See if it'll work. I'll go to the next setting, which is 450 degrees centigrade. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm going to try it. Alright, it didn't take long at all for the second setting to start to soften this up. So as it gets warmed up, it actually gets easier and easier, and I'm able to start the putty knife right at the top edge, and then kind of using the putty knife as a heat shield. I just do that area and it peels away. Well, I'm glad that's done. That took about an hour, but it pays off to be careful. My goal is to save this piece of glass, although it did crack while I was working on it, and then it cracked again. But I'll try to save these pieces as best I can. I mean, obviously, this is antique glass, and if I have a job that needs a smaller piece, I can use it. And now I'll go find some glass to put in here. I have a collection of antique glass. I don't think any of the pieces are going to be this big, but I have restoration glass from Benheim's in New Jersey that looks just like this. Okay, up in the barn I do have some restoration glass that I mentioned, but I found a rather large piece of antique glass, and so I think it'll be the right size. So the next question is, you know, the old glass it's real wavy and has a lot of defects. I need to see if this glass that I saved from another job has the same level of defects. So here's a piece of the old glass, and you can really see how wavy it is. Got a pretty good wave to it. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think that'll work fine. Okay, now, this is not a video about how to cut glass. This is a video about me trying to cut glass. Failure. Okay, so I failed with the antique glass, but now I'll use a piece of the restoration glass, which is really nice and actually just as wavy as the old glass, so it's fine. I think I wasn't scoring the glass evenly enough, and I'm also kind of learning how to use these special pliers, which breaks it. Got it. Okay, so the glass fit in pretty well, thank goodness. Now I've got some window glazing compound. I have some dry colors, so I can mix it to this color. Some paint thinner and a putty knife thing for this, so let's do it. Okay, that's good. I'm going to let this dry overnight, although it doesn't ever really dry, but it'll dry some, and then allow me to go around and clean the glass and scrape these edges, get it all nice and clean. Okay, it's dried overnight. You know, it's still soft, but it's firmed up quite a bit, and I think enough for me to clean this glass as long as I'm careful. Well, I got to tell you that the restoration glass matches the old glass so fine. I forget which pane it was I replaced, but it was this one. And boy, it looks pretty good.